Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a case that really just baffles everyone who hears about it. It's about a young man who vanishes, like completely vanishes, while he's actually talking on a cell phone.
Yeah, it's that real-time aspect that's so chilling. An event happens, you hear part of it, and then nothing. No trace left behind.
It's a paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really sticks with you, as I'm sure you found looking through the materials for this.
Oh, absolutely. Among, so many missing person cases, the Brandon Swanson story just stands out. It's uniquely perplexing. It's that specific mix of things, the communication right up to the last second, and that sudden, complete silence. It's deeply unsettling, even for people who study these cases all the time.
Exactly. And that unsettling nature is why we're focusing this deep dive on his disappearance. Brandon Swanson, May 14th, 2008, near Marshall, Minnesota. So our goal here is to really pull out the key pieces of information, the most important insights from the sources we've looked at to help you understand the core facts and the lasting questions around this unsolved mystery. Okay, so let's set the scene first. Chronologically, we're talking the very early hours of May 14th, 2008. Brandon Swanson, he's 19, a college student. He's driving home. It's around midnight, maybe a bit after. He'd been out celebrating the end of the spring semester with friends.
Right, just a typical situation for a college kid finishing up exams, a late night drive home.
Pretty standard stuff.
And that normalcy is exactly what makes everything that follows so jarring. It starts completely ordinary.
And then it shifts.
Right.
So as he's driving, his car goes off a gravel road, gets stuck in a ditch. This is near a small town called Lind. His first reaction, totally understandable, he calls his parents for help.
Makes sense.
So his parents, they drive out right away. They're flashing their lights, calling his name. They really think they're close, but they just can't find him in the dark.
And this right here, this initial confusion about where he actually was.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, but also tragic. It fundamentally skewed the search from the absolute beginning. That misunderstanding cost them critical time.
Brandon, though, he sounds pretty calm on the phone, remarkably so. He tells his parents, okay, I'm going to start walking towards Lind. Meet me at the main parking lot in town. That was the plan.
Yeah, a clear plan, which feeds into that whole geographical confusion we were just talking about. Because, in those first few hours of someone going missing, every single minute is vital. And if you're searching in the wrong place based on what seemed like solid info from the person themselves,
right,
you're losing that crucial window. Resources are miles away from where they need to be. That delay, it's a huge lesson from this case.
And he stays on the phone with his dad for, what was it, an incredibly long time.
47 minutes.
47 minutes while he's walking. And he's describing things, right? Fences, gravel roads.
Yeah, sounds of running water, too. It sounded like he was, navigating, giving updates. Methodical, almost.
And crucially, throughout that entire call,
This is key, yeah.
he sounded completely logical, coherent. No signs of being drunk or, panicked or impaired in any way.
Exactly. Thinking clearly, which makes the way the call ended just so much more, perplexing and honestly terrifying.
Okay, so here it is. The moment everything changes, after almost an hour of this calm back and forth, Brendan just suddenly yells, oh, shh.
Just like that?
And then nothing.
Yeah.
The call goes dead silent. The line itself stayed connected, but no response. Nothing more from Brandon. That was it. The very last time anyone heard his voice. Just gone in an instant.
And you have to ask, right, what on earth could cause that kind of reaction? That raw, audible shock, followed instantly by total silence, but the phone line, it's still open. It's not just that he disappeared, it's how. It's this real-time disappearance, vanishing, like mid-sentence, while connected to someone. That's what makes it so uniquely chilling compared to other cases.
And then adding another layer of just frustration and confusion for everyone involved, especially the family. The police eventually trace his phone records, and the discovery is shocking.
Yeah, this is where it gets really complicated.
He wasn't near Lind at all, not even close. He was actually 25 miles away, near a different town called Taunton.
25 miles. Imagine that. The reality versus what everyone believed based on that call.
It's a massive discrepancy.
In connecting this back, this wasn't just a minor mistake, this huge geographical error. It was the critical challenge that swallowed up so much precious time right at the start. It really shows how initial assumptions, even coming directly from the missing person who sounds coherent, can send the whole search effort completely off track, delaying everything when time is absolutely of the essence.
So his car is eventually found, abandoned in a ditch off a dirt road, but near Taunton, where the phone pinged. And there's nothing there. No signs of a struggle, no blood, no indication of injury, just an empty car.
Clean scene, basically.
Yeah. So the search efforts that followed were, they were huge, reflecting how serious this was. Over 500 volunteers, you had canine units, law enforcement, scouring hundreds and hundreds of acres. They even used GPS mapping, drones later on.
Right. They really threw everything they had at it in that area near Taunton.
As you'd expect, given the circumstances.
And, what's fascinating here is just how thoroughly they searched that area, and yet absolutely nothing turned up. No physical trace of Brandon. The bloodhounds, they did pick up his scent. They followed it for several miles, actually, along a gravel road and then near the Yellow Medicine River. But then, poof, the trail just went cold, lost it completely.
The river, yeah. They focused on that, didn't they?
They did. They even dredged parts of the river, thinking maybe he fell in after that final shout. But again, nobody was ever recovered. And the cadaver dogs, they didn't give any clear alerts for human remains in the water or along the banks.
So after all that searching, nothing. Not a shoe, not a piece of clothing, not a single item. It's like he evaporated.
It's truly an enigma. How can someone just vanish like that without leaving anything behind?
Okay, let's unpack this a bit then. The theories. Given this total lack of evidence, what do people speculate happened? There are a few main ideas, but they all have problems.
Right. The most common one, probably because of that moment and the scent trail heading towards the river, is that he accidentally fell into the Yellow Medicine River and drowned.
Makes sense on the surface.
It does. But the big counterpoint, and you really can't ignore this, is that his body has never been found, ever. And the river there, it wasn't actually that deep or fast-moving. Experts said it's not the kind of river that would likely prevent a body from surfacing or being found eventually, especially with the searches they did.
So if he did drown, where is he? After all these years, you'd expect something to turn up.
Exactly. It raises a huge question mark over that theory. Why has absolutely no evidence emerged?
Okay, what else?
Well, there's the possibility of hypothermia or some other kind of accident. It was a chilly night in May, Minnesota. Maybe he got lost, disoriented in the dark, walking for so long, and succumbed to the elements.
Possible, I guess.
Possible, but again, where's the evidence? Even if he collapsed somewhere from exposure, you'd think searchers, dogs, someone would have found remains, clothing, something in the area eventually. But nothing.
Still leads back to that complete lack of physical trace.
Precisely. Then there's foul play. You can't ever completely rule it out, even in a rural area like that.
Sure.
But there was zero evidence of a struggle at the car. No reports of suspicious people in the area. Nobody found anywhere suggesting an attack or abduction. So while it's a possibility, there's just nothing concrete to support it. It's pure speculation at this point.
And the last main theory, voluntary disappearance.
Yeah, the idea he just decided to walk away from his life. But honestly, that's considered extremely unlikely by pretty much everyone involved, his family, friends, the investigators.
Why so unlikely?
Well, multiple reasons. He was reportedly very close to his family. He sounded calm and was actively seeking help on the phone right before he vanished, not like someone planning to run off. And there were just no signs beforehand, no distress, no packing bags, no financial issues, nothing to suggest he wanted to disappear. It just doesn't fit his personality or the known facts of that night.
So none of the theories really fit perfectly. They all leave major questions unanswered.
Exactly. Each one bumps up against that wall of missing evidence.
Which brings us back to what makes this case so deeply unsettling, why it sticks in your mind. It's that combination, isn't it? He's actively talking, sounds okay.
Logical, coherent.
The exact moment of likely danger is caught on tape, that shout. And then, despite massive searches, dogs, technology, years passing, absolutely zero trace. Not a footprint, not a thread. It's like he was erased.
It vanished into thin air. It defies explanation.
But his case, his disappearance, it did have a significant impact beyond just the mystery itself, right? It led to legislative change.
It did. And this is an important legacy. His disappearance directly led to the passage of Brandon's Law in Minnesota in 2009.
Okay, tell us about Brandon's Law. What does it do?
So Brandon's Law essentially requires police to take a missing persons report immediately when an adult is reported missing under dangerous circumstances, like Brandon was. Before this law, there was often a waiting period, maybe 24, 48 hours, especially for adults, based on the assumption they might have just left voluntarily.
Right, the old wait-and-see approach.
Exactly. But Brandon's Law mandates that if the circumstances suggest the person could be in danger, lost, possibly injured, foul play suspected, the police have to start the investigation right away. No waiting period allowed. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it shows how one single, incredibly tragic, unsolved case can actually force systemic change. It changed procedures to ensure those critical early hours aren't lost, potentially helping other missing persons be found sooner. It's had a real impact.
That's a powerful legacy for such a heartbreaking situation. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, we're left with that same central haunting question that nobody can answer. How does someone in our modern world with GPS, cell phones, mapped roads, how do they just vanish off the face of the earth while on the phone, leaving absolutely nothing behind?
It really is a testament to the fact that there are still profound unknowns out there. Even with all our technology, all our advanced search methods, the world can sometimes, somehow, just swallow someone whole. Brandon Swanson's case is maybe one of the starkest reminders of that. Some mysteries remain stubbornly, frustratingly unsolved.
And it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? About our own vulnerability, about how much we think we control, how connected we feel with our phones, but how quickly that can dissolve.
Yeah.
It's a chilling thought that even with all our advancements, there are still these voids, these unknowns, where the answers might just never surface. Something to definitely reflect on.